Hey there, this is Matt with State of Flux, here with a review for the 4:30 movie. This is Kevin Smith's latest work, a really sweet slice-of-life coming-of-age dramedy that's set in 1986. It is brimming with nostalgia, both for cinema fans, but also for people who just kind of lived in an era that we don't really have anymore. We completely changed the way we consume our movies. Back in the day, I remember going out with my friends, just like these kids in this film, and spending the whole day at the Cineplex, watching multiple movies in a row. And that's not really something we have in our culture anymore. Streaming kind of killed that. And it was nice to walk back into this reality. It's a beautifully shot film for a criticism that gets thrown at Smith quite often, and I've never really fully agreed with it. This film really is an excellent showcase of his visual style. It's simple, but it's completely important to the way that the story is being told. And I like the look of it. It feels distinctly 80s. He captures the voice of the 80s as well. It does seem like kind of archaic use of language, but it also feels rich and authentic. And that's something I really appreciate. Austin Zajur gives an amazing performance. He is really grounded, and he really makes this film work. And unlike somebody like Seth Rogen, who, again, I really like Seth Rogen, but in Zack and Miri, one of other Kevin Smith's films, you felt like Seth Rogen was just trying to do his best impression of Kevin Smith. Austin Zajur doesn't do that. He does his own thing while espousing who Kevin Smith kind of is, as he was back in the 80s. This is a film that kind of riffs also on a podcast, as many of Smith's more recent film library does, going back to the emo Kev stuff. A lot of the emo nature is pulled out of it, but you do see the groundwork for what this movie ultimately becomes in that podcast. But Austin Zajur isn't Kevin Smith. He's his own character, and one that I really, really quite liked. The whole friend group is pretty solid, especially in terms of performances. The performances across the board are great. I dug the little cameos from all of Smith's peeps, and that was a joy for me. And this film kind of does a grindhouse thing where it gives you trailers for movies that don't exist. My favorite of which was Booties, the riff on Ghoulies, because I was a hardcore Ghoulie fan growing up in that era as a kid. And so seeing that brought to life on the big screen was really, really cute and fun. Cute's probably the wrong word, but I found it cute. As I say, the coming-of-age story elements of it there's not a lot new here, but what is there really hits home, especially to somebody who is interested in film or is a budding writer and stuff like that. This is an important movie to see. It'll probably hit you differently than a lot of other people, and it really hit me hard in a couple of key scenes. Genesis Rodriguez has a really great moment, and she is fantastic in a couple of other of Smith's films, namely Tusk. She is one of the shining stars of that film. She has a really great moment here that kind of brought me to tears. But it's really the main relationship between the two leads that I really, really appreciated. The score of the film is also really strong. It's a very pretty score. It's done by Bear McCreary, and he does a great song at the end credits called 24 Karat Case of Love, again lifted from that podcast from way back in the day. But that song is catchy as hell. Like, I legit hope they submit that for Oscar contention, because I think he could win. It's a really catchy-ass song, and it feels completely 80s. Like, so 80s. And I love it. But needless to say, I think this is Kevin Smith's best film, certainly since Red State. But I think in terms of his more sentimental works, this is his best film since Jersey Girl, which is another film that is a little more by the books than Smith is known for doing. It follows a little more of a quote-unquote generic structure, but it's done in the Kevin Smith way and style, which makes it unique in and of itself. And I think those two films are sweet slices of life, sentimental films that I think are among my favorite of his works, full stop. And I know a lot of people don't really like Jersey Girl. I feel like they would change their mind if they were to go back and rewatch it. It is a very good movie. But this kind of falls in that same world, and I loved it. This is one of my favorite films of the year. Granted, I'm coming at this from the perspective of a Kevin Smith fan, but I don't even think you have to be one to like this movie. I think the thing that a lot of like Gen Z or Gen Alpha folk might point to this movie and be like, ooh, that's cringe, are some of the film within a film segments. I think the trailers largely work. It's the movie that's being shown, Astro Blasters, that is just a little too cute for me. It doesn't really play like, yes, I know he's kind of riffing on Masters of the Universe and Flash Gordon and films, gladiatorial films of that era, which were very much real, but this one just looks a little too low budge to be credible. That also being said, the only other thing in this film that doesn't necessarily play for me is a lot of nods to the future. Like, that also just got a little too cute for me. But largely, I love this movie. I give it 3.5 out of 4 stars. It's one of my favorite films of 2024 so far, and it's the first time in a long time that I've been wanting to drag my friends to the theater to see something. And can I also just let a round of applause for a light comedy making it to cinema screens. That's fantastic, and we should get more of them. I urge you to check this out. If you get a chance to see it in the theater, see it with an audience. It's a really enjoyable time, and you won't have wasted yours. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, do all that good stuff. Follow me on TikTok. I'll leave a little comment to, or a link to that in the comment area down below. Thanks for watching. Peace.